Okay. Opening the Oldham County Code Enforcement Board hearing for Wednesday, November the 7th. We have the first business on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from August 1. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes?
I move the minutes be approved as presented.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor say aye. Aye. Okay, motion carries. We're going to move on to citation 509.
509.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth and the testimony you're about to give to the board is true and accurate to the best of belief and knowledge?
I do. Good afternoon, everybody. This will be for citation 509. The address is 6320 Highway 329 in Crestwood. The owner of record is, I'm going to try to pronounce this, Kutma. I think that's right. He's got an address of Post Office Box 304 in Florence, Kentucky, 41022. A hearing was not requested. Violations is the nuisance ordinance, 89-800-846, sections number 1, abandoned, discarded, or unused objects or equipment such as automobile, furniture, stoves, refrigerators, freezers, cans, or containers. This case started on August 8th. Received a complaint regarding the condition of the property. A site visit was conducted and found junk, trash, household items piled at the rear corner of the house. The grass in the rear yard was overgrown, and photographs were taken. Courtesy letter was sent to the owner of record. Here's some of the photos. And the house is a rental house. On August 24th, a follow-up site visit was conducted and found no improvement in the condition of the property. So more photos were taken and notice of violation was sent to the owner of record. And the photo on the left is actually from further back toward the rear of the yard, facing toward the front. On September 12th, follow-up site visit was conducted, found some improvement had been made, but overall not a whole lot. Photographs were taken. Citation 509 was issued via certified mail, and a copy of the citation was posted on the front door of the residence. Photos from that visit. On October 10th, I got a phone call from the current resident who stated that those conditions existed when she moved in. However, she didn't think the owner would be very cooperative, so she'd just soon take care of the problem herself. And I told her that was fine. I told her, the compliance dates. So I followed back up today, and found the big pile in the back. Apparently it was from a previous resident that was stacked full of concrete blocks and bricks and stuff like that. She removed most of that. And what was left in the back from that one big pile was some tree limbs and such, but they tried to burn them, and they still had some left as of today. They'd say it was still too wet to burn. She intends to get it burnt this weekend as long as it stays dry. I told her, I said, wouldn't change the fact we're having a hearing, but and there's the photos from today. I still haven't heard from the owner of the property. So I think there's clear violation of the nuisance ordinance. Like I said, the current resident is trying to fix the problem, but I think she will eventually, but the owner's not doing anything. So that's where we stand.
How would you assess the current state?
In all actuality, it looks pretty good, except for what's left there in the backyard. The junk around the house has been removed. She said that they did have some problems because they just thought it was burnable stuff in the middle, and as soon as the burn ban was lifted, she figured they'd just burn it. But they had to remove the bricks and the blocks and stuff, so she seems, legitimate in wanting to get rid of it, but so I'm assuming as much as she's done that, if the weather holds by this weekend, it'll get burned and everything will be fine, but you never know.
Do you think that it's substantially in compliance with exception of that last bit of stuff to be burned?
Yes. That's the only thing left, and it's looked better. I went by there once last year over something totally separate, and it looks better than it did last year. So these residents appear to be maintaining it a whole lot better.
Well, I don't think it matters who brings it into compliance. Yes. I don't think matters who brings it into compliance. I would move that we table this for 30 days and see if the lady gets it completed and look at it next month.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to table till next month. Do I have a second?
Second.
Do we have a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, this motion has been, we've been tabled. All right, sir?
Ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, the next one is citation number 510. The address is 4304 Windy Hills Drive, Crestwood. The owner of record is Shirley T. Davis from that address. However, I've learned that Miss Davis has passed away quite a while back. So her daughter basically has control of the property. I'm not even sure it's been through probate yet. It's apparently a long, drawn-out process with them. So I did get in touch with her daughter, and I've been working with her daughter on it. A hearing was not requested. Violations are the Oldham County nuisance ordinance, 89-800-846, Section 1A, definitions, conditions which render such properties as dangerous or detrimental or adverse to the health or welfare or offensive to the senses of the residents of Oldham County. Oldham County address identification ordinance, KOC 17-30-378, Sections 1B, number 1, which states that the address numbers have to be 3 inches in height, standard Arabic numbers, and that number 4, which states that mailboxes located at the fronting road shall have the address numbers attached on both sides. And Oldham County zoning 280-100B, keeping an unlicensed vehicle outside of the garage in a residential zone requires a permit. On July 6th, the code enforcement officer received a complaint regarding the condition of the property. A site visit was conducted, found the grass, bushes, everything was overgrown on the property. Street address numbers were not out on the mailbox. They were partially on one side, but they'd flaked off, peeled off to where they were unreadable. And there was an unlicensed vehicle parked in the driveway. Photographs were taken, and a courtesy letter was sent to the owner of record, and this is kind of where I ran into problems. There's the photos from the visit. So it'd been left unattended for a while at this point. Now, on August 1st, did a follow-up visit, found there was no improvement, took another round of photographs and sent the notice of violation to the owner of record. On August 20th, I got information that the owner had passed away and that her daughter had control of the property, and was able to contact her. However, she was at the time and is currently pretty bad off medically. She was living at the house, and due to her medical condition, she's having to stay with friends and family in another county. And between August and now, she spent several weeks in the hospital. So, and I've stayed in contact pretty much the entire time. She didn't know there was anything going on because she hadn't been receiving any of the mail from that address. So I forwarded another copy of the notice of violation to where she's staying at so she could get it, and extended the compliance date to September 3rd for her. So she contacted me on August 30th, stating that she basically couldn't find anybody she could afford to come and take care of the property. And the vehicle, she was having trouble getting anything done with the vehicle. So I extended the compliance date to the 17th for her. On the 18th, I tried to make contact with her, and she was currently in the hospital. So it's been phone conversations between then and October 12th, back and forth. On October 12th, I revisited the property, saw that nothing had been done. So issued citation 510 via certified mail, and secured a copy of it to the front door of the residence. Now, since that time, she stayed in touch with me almost weekly. She's been back in the hospital and back out. Still hasn't found anybody to take care of the grass. I did a follow-up visit today and found that the vehicle was gone. She finally sold it to one of her friends, and they came and got it, and she was going to use the proceeds from that to get her grass mowed, but today she's saying that they're saying it's too wet and they can't mow it. I don't know. Numbers still aren't up on the mailbox, so, and here's photographs from today. Somebody came along right on that corner and mowed down a bunch of it, but nobody knows who did that. So I don't know if it's somebody in the neighborhood or...
Somebody who was tired of looking at it.
Yes. Yes, the neighbors are not real enthused with it. So like I said, the vehicle issue has been fixed. It's gone off the property. But the overgrowth and the numbers on the mailbox are still a problem. And I think she means well. I think she wants to get it done. I just don't know if she'll be able to or not, in all actuality.
I have a question, and that this may be directed at our council, as well as you. If this lady is not the legal owner, title holder of the property, it's not gone through probate, I'm assuming that the the lady, the deceased owner, still, the title's still in her name.
Everything I've seen shows it's still in her name.
So, if we assess any penalties, it goes to the legal owner of the property at this time. So I don't know,
Would that go to the estate?
Well, the problem is there an estate in existence right now? We just have a notification of one of the owners. There's a lot of issues there. Is she married? Is she single? At the time of death, she have a will?
She was single. I'm not for sure about a will.
There's no probate action or no administration of an estate. So, does she have any family?
Just her daughter that I'm aware of.
If she has no will, the real estate's gonna pass to her heirs, who would be a possible part of to a husband, she has a husband, or two children, or down the line. But technically, we just need to be concerned, we got a piece of real estate, we got an issue with nuisance, and we're gonna file a lien against the property. And whoever ends up with the property will be responsible for seeing that is either taken care of or pay the lien or say, we don't want anything to do with it, you know.
okay.
We got a ways to go on that before you get to it, you know. We just do our normal thing right now.
Okay.
Okay, are you finished, Darrell?
Yes, sir.
I'm ready to make a motion if anybody, unless anybody else is. I'll find that the citation was properly issued on October the 12th, 2018 to the resident of the property, who is not the owner. And notice of this hearing was given at that same time. The respondent did not request a hearing to contest the citation within 7 days of issuance of the citation, but was notified of this hearing but is not present.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor that the citation was issued properly. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a second. Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed,
Aye.
nay. Okay, the motion carries.
So we have a nuisance ordinance violation, we have a zoning ordinance violation, and what do the address fall under? Is that other?
Yes, but now the zoning violation was for the vehicle, and it has been removed.
So that's out. We're not gonna have any finding on that then, okay. Okay, well, on the nuisance ordinance violation, I move to find that the violation was committed for nuisance ordinance 89-800-846, section 1. And the violation was observed by the officer on October 12th and has been permitted to exist for, let's see, if I look at my calendar here, unless you've already done the math somewhere, Darrell, I'll figure it out.
No, sir, I have not. You usually beat me to it.
That's 26 days. That concludes my motion.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor made by Board Member Moss that the violation was detrimental to the property of others, that the violation was observed by the officer on October the 12th and has been existing for 26 days. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a second. For the vote, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
And moving on to other code violations, I move to find that the violation of the Oldham County address identification, KOC 17-30-378. Sections 1B, 1, 2, 3, and 4 was observed on October the 12th and has been permitted to exist for 26 days.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor for the address. It was reserved on 10/12/18, has been in existence for 26 days. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
And moving to the remedial order, I move to issue a remedial order, and the terms of that order should state that the property be brought into compliance on all violations within 60 days of today's date. That concludes my motion.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor by Board Member Moss that the property be brought into compliance 60 days from today's date. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a second. For the vote, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Okay, motion carries.
And moving on to the civil fine, I move that we assess a civil fine in the amount of $75 a day for the 26 days that it was observed, which is a total of $1,950, and that fine be held in abeyance for 60 days within the terms of the remedial order. That concludes my motion.
Okay. We have that motion on the floor by Board Member Moss that the ordinance will be at $75 a day for a total of $1,950 that will be held in abeyance for 60 days within the terms of the remedial order. Do I have a second on the floor?
Second.
Okay, we have a second. For a vote, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Okay. Next case is citation number 511. The address is 7009 Apple Orchard Lane, Crestwood 40014. Owner of record is Amy A. Austin with a post office box 1864 in Danville, Kentucky 40423. Hearing was not requested. Violations is the Oldham County Nuisance Ordinance 89-800-846. Abandoned, discarded, or unused objects or equipment such as automobiles, furniture, stoves, refrigerators, freezers, cans, containers. Shoot, just a second. Okay. And I typed the wrong thing on that. I do believe.
Wrong ordinance?
It's the right ordinance, it's the wrong section.
Oh,
It's still section 1, but it should read, nuisance means any condition or the use of premises or of a building, exteriors which is detrimental to the property of others or which causes or tends to cause substantial diminution of the value of property of others' properties, or which renders such properties dangerous or detrimental or adverse to the health, welfare, or offensive to the senses of the residents of Oldham County. I apologize, I put the wrong one in. On September 11th, the Code Enforcement Office got a complaint regarding the condition of the property. Site visit was conducted, found that the grass, bushes were all overgrown. Didn't look like they'd been cut in quite a while. Photographs were taken, and courtesy letter was sent to the owner of record. And what had happened was the neighbor on each side had actually cut over and kind of left the mohawk look down the middle. On September 25th, a follow-up inspection was conducted that found no improvement had been made in the condition of the property, so more photographs were taken and a notice of violation was sent to the owner of record. And on October 12th, a follow-up site visit found no improvement. So citation 511 was issued via certified mail, and a copy was secured on the front of the residence. I've not heard anything back from the owner. So I don't know what's going on. As of today, I did a follow-up site visit this morning and found that it was in the same condition. And the citation's still attached to the front door.
you didn't receive a complaint on this? You did or did
I
not?
did, yes.
Okay.
Yes, apparently the neighbors have been putting up with this for a while, and they went up, I guess, last year, and they mowed the grass themselves, and they just got tired of mowing it, and
They didn't give you any input as to, is anybody living there or?
nobody is living there. One of the neighbors suggested might want to check the obituaries, maybe, so I even did that, and I couldn't find that person's name in the obituaries. So I have no clue. They said at one time they used it as a rental for a short time, but nobody's lived there in quite a while.
Well, other than the grass being uncut, it doesn't appear that it's dilapidated in
No,
any way.
it doesn't look
or
like it's fallen in or anything like that.
Trash laying around.
No, no. They say there's a pool around the back. You can't see it from the road, but they said it's all grown up back around there also.
And you sent the citation registered mail
Yes,
and did not receive the return?
I have
or
not. And
Was,
sometimes it takes the post office longer. I don't know if it's
I know.
because, you know, nobody's picking it up.
I've sent them and sometimes they never come back.
Yeah.
Well, I'll make a motion unless anybody else would like to go. I move to find that a violation was, oh, I'm sorry, let's go back to procedural matters first. I move to find that the citation was properly issued on October the 12th to the property owner, and notice of this hearing was given at the same time. The respondent did not request a hearing to contest the citation within 7 days of issuance of the citation, but was notified of this hearing and failed to appear. Therefore, the respondent is deemed to have waived the right to hearing to contest the citation. Determination of a violation was committed shall be final, and the board may proceed to the penalty phase.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor made by Board Member Moss that the citation was properly issued, the hearing was given to the respondent, that there was no request, and so do I have a second toward the motion?
Second.
We have a second. Okay, for a vote, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. The motion carries.
And moving on to the nuisance ordinance violation, I move to find a nuisance ordinance violation of ordinance 89, 800, 846 was committed, and that the officer was observed by the officer on October the 12th, 2018, and has been permitted to exist for 26 days.
Okay, we have a nuisance ordinance, motion on the floor by Board Member Moss, that the conditions were detrimental, that the property was observed by the officer on October the 12th and has been existing for 26 days. Do I have a second to this motion?
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a second on the floor. For a vote, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The motion is carried.
And moving on to the remedial order, I move to issue a remedial order that the terms of which the property be brought into compliance within 30 days of today's date.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor by Board Member Moss that the property be brought into compliance 30 days from today's date. Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a second on the floor. For a vote, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion carried.
And to move to the civil fine, I move to assess a civil fine in the amount of $75 per day for 26 days, which would be the same amount as the previous fine, I believe, of $1,950. And that fine be held in abeyance within the terms of the remedial order for 30 days.
Okay, we have a fine that in the amount of, for $75 per day, for the amount of $1,950. So it's based on 26 days, with it to be held in abeyance if the property is cleaned up within 30 days according to the remedial order. With that motion on the floor by Board Member Moss, do I have a second?
Second.
We have a second on the floor. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The motion is carried.
Harold, this question to you.
Yes, sir.
Have the taxes been paid on this property on a regular basis?
Need to go and talk into the mic.
On the case we just did,
Yes.
I have no idea. I haven't checked for that.
You might want to check those kind of things because it gives you a source of location and contact and making sure that you got the right address for mailing. Sometimes PVA and others have addresses that don't match up. I'm just saying, you might want to check into those things and see if the sheriff's been paid, you know, the tax has been paid.
Okay.
Gives you another source. And if they're being paid, it tells you that something's going on, you know.
Right. Okay. These next three are basically follow-ups or updates to previous cases that have been carried over. Citation 504 was for 4507 Timothy Way in Crestwood, 40014. And would you like me to go through all of it or just fast forward to the
Want me to
update?
tell them everything?
Yeah, here's photographs of the property, just kind of refresh you. It was over off Abbott Lane.
Yep, I remember this one.
Yes.
A lot of drama involved.
Yes. And it was quite lengthy. I'm trying to, let me fast forward. But Mr. Combs was appointed public administrator of the will for the estate, and he had his work cut out for him. Last we heard from this case, it was prior to the eviction of the current resident. The eviction was conducted. He was set out on August 31st. And then I did a follow-up site visit on September 14th, and the property had been cleaned up. I would consider it in compliance by that point. And that's what it looked like on the 14th. Then on October 30th, the property was sold to a third party. And I did go by this morning, and driveway was full of contractors. They put a new roof on the house. They were pulling the air handler out when I was there. Want to replace that. They're redoing the inside. One of the two detached structures in the backyard has already been removed, and the other one is slated. So now I don't know if he's going to keep it or resell it or rental property, but from what I could tell, everything seemed to be in compliance. So here's some photos from today. And in the little windows, a guy slinging drywall mud.
What's that?
Guy slinging drywall mud in that window.
Oh.
So at this point, I'd request y'all consider just dismissing this.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried.
Never thought that one would end well, did you?
I just happy it ended. Okay, the second update is citation 505, and that was the 8800 West Highway 42 in Goshen. It was actually located in a little area of Skylight. Here's the photos from the first visit of the property. Multiple vehicles sitting on the property behind the privacy fence that was in disrepair. Now, I was never able to get with the owners of the property. They apparently got my paperwork, and they started cleaning on the property, and we've kind of carried it over since then. They brought several dumpsters in, took dumpster loads out, and started cleaning it up. And as of today, conducted a follow-up site visit, and it's actually been a huge improvement in the property overall. The residence on the property was not even brought into question during the case, but they've got all new siding, windows, and doors. They've cleaned pretty much everything out. They found out there was a building back in the back that I didn't even know was there to begin with. I have no idea what they plan to do with the property. It seems like they plan to do something with it. Now there's still one vehicle, a travel trailer, a truck topper, and a few items left laying. That's from photographs from today. But when you compare them to what was there, it's just huge improvement.
So you think it's substantially in compliance? at this time?
Except for those few items, yeah, and I would say they plan to do something with it. I mean, they've invested a lot of time and money into it, so I don't know if they plan to sell it or what, but either way, I figure the items that are left are gonna get removed. I mean, they can't sell it like with them sitting there, so.
What items were they?
A van and like a tow-behind trailer, little camper-type trailer, and a truck topper, and looks like some leftover items that they drug out, still left to be removed. They're still working on the house.
You've never spoken with them or had any communication from them?
Is the van licensed?
I did not go on the property back far enough to see. I couldn't see from the road. I don't think the van has moved in a while.
Well, I've passed by there several times, and
Yeah.
you always see people working there now.
Yeah. So, I don't know if it's licensed. I don't even know if it is operable.
Are you not permitted to go on the
If you,
property?
I'm sorry.
Go on. Unless I'm serving the citation.
So your recommendation would be to just dismiss it or hold it over?
I'm kind of caught on this one, because I'd like to see them finish it. It looks to me like they intend to finish it, and like I said, do something with the property. On the other hand, I'm kind of scared to dismiss it outright, and then a year from now, it's still sitting the way it is.
Since we've seen progress, and it has almost there, I'd be willing to move to table it to next month to see if they continue.
Cool, that works for me.
So that would be my motion, to table till next month.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to table. Do I have a second, or any discussion?
Second.
Okay, we have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion is carried.
Three girls in the forest, sounds like a song.
You have one more?
And one more. And this was citation 508 for 4701 Sadler's Mill Road in LaGrange. And it started on May 7th. It was a house, had several vehicles parked, junk, trash, debris sitting around. Contacted the owner. He was very cordial. He couldn't do stuff quite as fast as what he said he could. We ended up carrying it over because he got everything done with the exception of the large brush pile on the back of his property. And at the time, the burn ban was in effect. And he had called Oldham County Dispatch to see about burning it. And of course, they told him he couldn't, so he was left. So we carried it over till after the burn ban, and this has been the next meeting since then. So, on November 5th, I did a follow-up site visit, found the brush pile, had been burnt. There's where it was. So, all the situation with the vehicles were the same vehicles there 2 days ago when I was there. They'd been there earlier, so they're still licensed and good. So at this point, he appears to be in compliance.
I move we dismiss.
A motion to dismiss, for a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion's carried.
Aye.
And that would be it. Thank you all very much.
Being
Thank you.
no other business, the Code Enforcement Board meeting today is adjourned.